Good afternoon, Sinead O'Connor here, and I'm joined by my colleague Keith, and today we're going to talk about cholesterol, which is a very important topic. And of course, I must remind you that nothing that we say is to be construed as medical advice, and if you need to get medical advice, we advise you to go to your healthcare practitioner. So, without any further ado, Keith, the whole topic of cholesterol and, you know, what's good, what's bad, what's in people's best interests being the more important point.
Yeah. There's a lot of fear around the word cholesterol, and I think that fear has been placed in people's heads since they're very small. If you get a child in national school and you ask them about cholesterol, they're sort of worried in case their cholesterol could be high as well. It's been bred into people to worry about it. But I never used to look into it much until I got involved in the health industry and until I was doing cardiovascular screenings. And I was realizing that people who had excessive stiffness in their arteries, i.e., the arterial stiffness of a 30-year-old was showing up that their arterial system was at the stiffness of a 50 or 60-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And they always told me, oh, my cholesterol is high. And then when we helped them to melt the plaque, clean the arteries, restore the blood flow using the Vital 3 protocol, and we got the flexibility back in the arteries, so we could see the percentage stiffness dropping when you'd reanalyze their situation.
Yeah.
And then they said, do you know what happened? My cholesterol came down.
Yeah.
And so that of course, all these things make you think, and you start to wonder, what was the reason for the cholesterol being high in the first place?
Yes.
And most people think, oh, my cholesterol is high, the cholesterol is the actual problem.
Yes.
It's not the problem. It's the body's response to a different problem, which was a lack of nitric oxide production. But I always look at it this way. We need X amount of cholesterol to make hormones, to make bile acids. 87% of every cell is built from cholesterol. When the sun hits your skin, its cholesterol is turned into vitamin D. The myelin around the brain, the myelin sheath, cannot be repaired without cholesterol.
Yeah.
So if we need this much cholesterol to make all hormones, bile acids, build cells, let's say we have a bit of stiffness in the arteries, and when the arteries are stiff, the heart pumps blood. They can't flex. There's no flexibility left.
Right.
But the heart's still going to pump. Now we get little cracks and tears in the arterial system. So what's the body's response? We'll tell the liver to make a bit more cholesterol to go in and seal the cracks and tears.
Mm-hmm.
Now your cholesterol's up here. So the body decides, I need to repair the myelin. There's a problem there. The myelin needs repairing. The body's going to ask the liver, make a little bit more because the repair needs to be done to the myelin.
Yeah.
Now where people are being told your cholesterol should be here, the body actually needs it here to do all those jobs.
To do the repair and maintenance, yeah.
But they're then put on a medication to instruct the liver not to listen to the body.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're
the instruction...
You're kind of bypassing, sorry, Keith, the body's natural responses.
You of course you are.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get up to 90% of your cholesterol is going to be manufactured by your liver. So you probably get approximately 10% from your foods. But if you went on a low-fat diet, well, now the liver has to make 95%.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I often ask the question, I was actually doing a call with a couple in the US on Friday evening, and we were discussing this whole subject because they're heavily into the area of helping people with dementia.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to them, do you honestly think the liver is going to make extra cholesterol for fun? and they looked at me and said, well, we never thought of it that way.
Yeah, yeah.
So the body's only going to make what it needs, but there's going to be reasons why the body is asking the liver to make that level.
Yeah.
So if it's a lack of nitric oxide production and causing stiffness, well, then you just clean the arteries and you get the flexibility back and cholesterol pops down.
Right.
But it's essential. But think about it for a minute. If your body has a shortage of cholesterol and it can't repair the myelin, what's going to happen then? You're going to have messaging disruptions. You're going to have issues where somebody is going to be diagnosed with a malfunction from a brain perspective. And that could be Alzheimer's, that could be dementia, that could be whatever it's diagnosed as. But it was the body's failure to solve a problem because medication was hindering the body's mechanism for fixing that problem.
Yeah.
Does that all make sense?
It does. It does make perfect sense to me. Yeah.
And that's what I see, Alla. So it was a great discussion I had with that couple, and you could see the light bulbs going on. You could see the moment of clarity, because we also were talking about blood pressure, and I explained to them, so if there's a clogging up of the arterial flow and blood flow can't get to an organ, a gland or whatever, well, then the body's going to keep asking the heart to rise in pressure. But then there's medication introduced to tell the heart not to listen to the body. I says, now your liver or whatever it was is going to go back down to the smaller level of blood supply because the heart has to keep working at that lower pressure because it's been instructed to, it's been overridden.
Yes. So it's kind of the same thing, actually, as
exactly same thing.
Cholesterol. Yeah.
It's all the same. It's all the same issue. And the original problem is a lack of nitric oxide production.
Yes. Yeah.
If they were making enough nitric oxide, they never would have clogged up the arterial system. They never would have needed the extra cholesterol manufactured to seal the cracks and tears. They never would have had the blood pressure issue because the body would have never asked the heart to rise in pressure.
Yeah. It's pretty basic, isn't it, when you break it down like that?
Well, it needs to be basic for me.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really important to get this information out to people and to, have it in ways that we can all understand when we're, non-medical people. And, at the end of the day, we all are responsible for our own health. And to be able to understand topics like this, I think, is important. And then whether people choose to take medication or not is entirely their choice. But what we're trying to do is to help them make an informed choice and, separate the wood from the trees.
And to ask those questions.
Yes.
If somebody's been told, you need to go on this medication or that medication or whatever it is, get an analysis of why it's required, what does it do, what are the side effects, and will it solve the problem or hide the symptoms? Yes.
I mean, the last two are probably the most important questions. Will it solve the problem?
And it won't.
Yeah.
If somebody says to you, you need to get onto that medication and you'll be on it for life, that should be a ding, 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 ding moment. It doesn't work.
Yes. Yes.
Because if it worked, it would only be temporarily required.
Yes. Yeah. That's very
so
true.
Therefore, it's hiding symptoms, not fixing the actual problem. Because when the problem gets fixed, you don't have to address it anymore. Yes. And I've watched so many people work their way off blood pressure medication, cholesterol medication, everything you could think of. In fact, I got a lovely message from a lady in the US the other day. She was actually with her father. Now she got the V3 for her dad, and her dad he's well up there in the years. He's in his, I think he's late 70s at this point, but she messaged me so happy that her dad is doing so well. His doctor has taken him off one of his medications already.
Wow.
Yeah.
So satisfying, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Turn things around. That's wonderful. Fantastic. So we're just under 10 minutes. So I think we'll leave it at that for today, Keith. And we'll hop on again in another couple of days.
Yeah, we've done enough harm at that.
Yeah.